morning. Welcome to Studio 5. All right, we talk quite a bit on this show about how men and women behave differently, right? And as it turns out, a lot of it comes down to how we hear things. When women speak, we think men understand what we're saying.
There's the problem.
Is that the problem right there?
See, our ears and brains don't work the same way your ears and brains work. It just, we're wired differently. We don't always hear what you're meaning to say. You say something, we don't hear it. And that's where the frustration comes into play. So Studio 5 relationship coach Matt Townsend is here to help us translate for all you women. Matt's going to tell us 4 things that men really want to hear, because that's part of the problem.
Well, yeah. It's pretty much a male problem. I don't know why. But part of it is that remember, we've talked about this a lot. We communicate for different reasons.
Right.
We communicate basically to transfer data and information.
Women, why else would you want to communicate?
Apparently they communicate to bond.
I don't understand
Bonding.
I don't get it. We all know the right way to bond. And it has nothing to do with talk. But
for men, it's all about action.
You know what? That's the quickest you've worked that into a conversation. That was like 30 seconds.
I'm trying to be more efficient with my time. So one of the things that men are very predictable, okay? Because we're very literal. When a man says something, we literally mean pretty much what we're saying. Literally, we're right there. Okay, so hey, let's eat.
Yeah, I wonder what that means.
Pull over, turn the car off, we're eating. So one of the things we want is we want to hear something literal from our partner, and because we're so literal, something really nice would be a compliment instead of a criticism. When you start giving your partner a lot of feedback, women would just call it feedback, men hear criticism, they hear critique.
Feedback's such a nicer word.
Men really don't want to be critiqued. Part of it's because our ego immediately gets engaged, and the minute you're giving criticism because you want to improve, you want to make life better for us, you want to make us closer.
We want to help.
You want to help. You want us to be. You want the project that we are to be improved a little bit every day.
That's part of it, dude. They're working on us.
They're working on us.
We are your science experiment that you're trying to work on here a little bit.
We're not your project. So quit critiquing us. And so one of it is just give us a little more. What were you going to say?
Nothing.
No, you're not. Were you critiquing me?
Myself.
You were critiquing me.
Keep talking.
Gosh.
Did you see me stop myself?
I did totally. That was really good control. That was very good. Why are you blushing now? Is it hot in here?
Go.
So, men want compliments. And it's weird because it's not like we just want you to feed us compliments. What we really don't want is to be critiqued. It's weird. It's our ego. It gets engaged. Second rule, men like specific actions, not vague hints. Men want you to tell them specifically what you need your man to do. Can you take that garbage out?
Now, sometimes you pointed out that doesn't work. You have to give even more specific detail.
Yeah, can you take
the garbage out today?
Today, and we'll get into that time frames because men and time are very important. But because we watch our times very carefully, we'll get into that. But what we want is specifics, no vagary. Meaning, women tend to read between the lines and communicate between the lines. Men very much are right on the line. When a man's full, guess what he means?
He's full.
He means the cavity that is his stomach has reached a point of satiation.
Really?
And can hold no more food or liquid, thus full.
Wow.
And so, but then the woman can read in between that. So you didn't like my dinner? Did you eat out somewhere else today? So part of what we want is specific. So, for example, if you want me to go shopping with you, I'd be very specific. Babe, can you go shopping with me? And in a minute we'll talk about the time. Can you take 2 hours with me, spend some time shopping so we can get that birthday present for Britton, then I can relax. Very specific versus, I'd really like to spend the day with you. That's so vague to a man because the day's like, what, 24 hours?
Yeah, like that.
That could go on forever.
And then when the man finds himself in the mall, he's bitter because he hadn't been pre-warned.
You never mentioned the mall. You said a birthday present.
But don't you find women are so kind and so nice and so gentle about so many things that they sometimes are.
How you're setting this up.
That's why they don't come right out and say something, because they're so sensitive about people's feelings. They don't want to do that.
Now watch what that is. That's the woman communicating to bond. So that's too bold to just say, look, all I want you for is to shop for 2 hours at the mall. Shut it. Let's go.
Because that's not nice.
That's not nice. But see, you think that impacts our relationship.
No.
We don't. What we don't want to hear is we don't want to be trapped at the mall wondering when does this end. Does that make sense?
So state the objective.
State it. Be very specific. If what you want is a back rub with no options of future activity,
good man,
then that's how I'd say it. Babe, can I get a back rub that pretty much ends there? That's what I would say. And most of the time the guys are going to be okay with that as long as they have other options.
So skip the politeness, skip the nicety, just get it out.
And remember, the niceness and politeness is because you're into relationships. You're trying to communicate in a way that protects your relationship.
And we appreciate that, but for a communication, it sometimes bogs down.
That's exactly right.
You kept talking about time frames.
Third rule, the big one, is to communicate the time factor. For men, time's always at play. And it sounds weird, but what we tend to worry about is how long is this activity going to take? And then will I ever get a break myself? Men are kind of weird because we tend to be solo beings. Women are much more social. You're wired to be much more social. Men are much more wired to be solo beings. We like our break. We need our time alone. In fact, I was just in St. George with my family, and I would find all these little moments to just go be alone. Like I'd go, my daughter would need to be picked up somewhere. I'm like, I got her. And then I'd go take a half-hour drive.
But it's so easy from the female perspective to pick that up as a clue. He doesn't want to be with me. He wants to be alone. Right. He doesn't want to be with me.
See, that's the social mind saying, you know what? He hates me. You turn it into a social thing. For me, it's just like I need space. Men tend to be very independent. Women tend to be much more social. That's why a lot of husbands don't want to go out to dinner with their wife and her friends and all of these people. And every weekend we got a dinner date thing we got to go do. And that's why your husband a lot of times gets mad, because we want to break. So one of the things I would always tell your partner is whatever you're asking him to do, ask him to do it and tell him a time frame. Honey, can we have a conversation about the taxes that are coming up and just maybe take 20 minutes discussing it?
Did my wife call you and drop that
Yeah, she did. In fact, you got to get on that right now.
Tell me about it.
Oh, and you also need that physical. She called about that, but I didn't want to get into that. Did I say that on the air?
That's the other thing. Men don't go for physicals.
Men don't get physicals. That's too embarrassing.
Please.
Only sick people need physicals.
Discussion for another day.
We'll get to that one.
Yes.
So always communicate how much time you're going to need, and then you know what else I might communicate? Hey, babe, if we can just get this done, then we could have some time alone, or we could take time separately. And you can have your day and I'll have my day.
So it is that dual communication. I mean, the guy's spitting back what he wants. I love your last one. Be positive, not negative.
Men have a major tone ear. We can hear tone really well, and we're hypersensitive to it. If I walk in the house, and I call it killing time, that's not good, but if I walk in about 6 o'clock in the evening and my wife's about ready to strangle a child, when I hear the tone, something goes off in me and I'm like, kill this one? You want me to kill this kid or this kid? Which kid do you want me to kill? I'll kill this one. And I immediately start reacting to her tone. Part of it is if I hear positivity, I know I'm probably being, men feel, that we're being good husbands. Because if you're happy, I must be doing something right. If you're not happy, I'm probably blowing it. So one of the rules is watch your tone. Women have no idea the power that your tone, that your happy little smiling demeanor can do for us. Men are highly reactive, and we shame very easily. So if you come off with like this one, nobody ever helps around the house but me. I have to do everything. Guess what the man hears? Loser! Fatso! Get up! Clean! Stuff like that.
Well, here's the thing about tone, because it sounds so simple when we talk about it in a setting like this, but after a long day of wanting to kill the kids, wrestling, maybe for 3 hours, lunch dishes still aren't done, that builds and builds and builds. And so I think it really has to be a self-check for a woman to step back and say, what is my tone? What am I saying? What am I communicating?
That's exactly right. And do a little check, too, and watch. When your tone goes off, watch what your husband does. Bet you bucks, his tone starts to go up. He doesn't become a peacemaker when you go off. He becomes angry. Yeah. And if you watch it, men are highly reactive. We have a lot more neurons attached to our reactive centers of our brain than women do. So the minute you create a tone, we're immediately going to react. Now, we all need to learn. Most importantly, we all need to talk. We just need to talk the stuff through.
And communicate in those languages that the other person can relate to.
And it's so true, because men, it's our job to make sure our wives are happy. Yeah. And if they're not happy, we feel like we're a failure and we're doing something wrong, and it's sort of an attack against us. So when women are not happy, we feel attacked.
It
doesn't make any sense.
Men want to hear. Women everywhere taking notes. Thanks so much.
It's just that simple.
All right, another fun date night coming up for you, Townsend.
Yeah, you know what? It's actually full.
Are you serious?
Can you believe that? It filled up. It filled up this week. But you can actually, if you call 747-2121, you can maybe get a standby seat if we have those. We're having another one in May. So we'll do this every month, but go call our office, get on our list so that you're on the next month's, because they're going way fast. I don't know why. Actually, I do. It's my hot date night thing.
Hot nights with Matt Townsend. Need we say more?
No, you don't. But then one other thing, consults. If you are having if you're struggling in your marriage, what I will do, because we run out of spots on that, is I'll do some consults. So I'll do a free consult where I'll sit down with you and your partner, and we'll assess you on your communication styles, and I'll spend a whole hour with you. So if you want that, call my office.
Okay, Matt, thanks so much. Information on our website.